Good morning and welcome again to another Veterans Forum program. For those of you who do not know, this is an attempt by the local community television stations to help bring back some history and to make sure that the history that was made has been carefully and correctly recorded. The program is held in conjunction with the Library of Congress's Veterans History Project, wherein they have asked stations such as this, and guys like me who like to do it, I guess, to interview any and all veterans from World War II, Korea, Nam, you name it, who have a story to tell and they are willing to tell it. The strange thing we're finding, though, a lot of guys and gals just don't want to talk. The fellas in World War II said, no, I had a job to do and they did it. Some of it was quite important, didn't it, if you will. So the guys in Korea and Nam, we know the grief that was visited upon them, and the poor guys today coming back from the Mideast. They all have stories to tell. The problem, though, is to make sure that they get properly reflected. Today, we have another guy who did his thing a long time ago. I'll call him Jerry. This is the young fellow we're talking about, okay? Listen carefully to his story. It's unique, it's different. Like all the others, it was just one piece of a big puzzle. Just a moment. Jerry, I'd like you, if you will, to introduce yourself, spell your last name for the record, and give us your branch of service and your service dates.
Last name?
Yeah, spell your full name and spell your last name, if you will.
Okay, Jerry Hebert, Hebert.
Okay, branch of service.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay, your branch of service.
Oh, infantry.
Army.
Army.
Okay, thank you. What are your dates of service? 42 to 45, you name it?
It was till 42. First, I think, was in 42. That's right, because my brother came home, and that's when I went in.
Oh, took his place, huh?
I lied about it.
No.
No.
We didn't lie. We say the truth for later. A lot of us did it, good or bad. Okay, now, where do you currently live? Where do you live now?
Now in Manchester. But I lived in Hooksett. I was born in Hooksett.
Oh, local boy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, what I'd like to do is go back and develop a history as to how you grew up, what it was like before you went in the service, and then we'll take your service life. Is that okay? All right?
Well, I grew up, we were during the Depression.
Where and when?
Hooksett, New Hampshire.
No, but by time, dates. 1924, 25, 30?
It had to be in the 30s.
Okay.
Let's say I was born in 24. It had to be.
Okay.
Then the war started. I remember when they hit us, because I had a guy that had gone to Blanding, Florida, was home at that time when they announced it.
On that Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how was life growing up before you went into the service as far as school, your family? For example, any of your relatives, brothers, uncles, and so forth, or sisters in the service or served time?
There's enough Heberts there. We could have fought the Germans ourselves.
It's nothing like being humble. Well, for example, what cite one or two? Any brothers like that, what they did, where they were?
The brothers, we all worked on, my father had a farm and we all took part in it. Some mornings I'd be milking, some other mornings it'd be somebody else.
How many were there, brothers and sisters?
There was 8 boys and 1 girl in our family.
She must have been the queen then, huh? Everybody took care of her.
Don't talk, don't fight her.
I think I married her sister, but
Right.
that's not the story.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I was schooling.
Hooksett Village School. Then the war came, and I didn't go to high school because I wanted to go in the service.
And that's when you said you shaved your age a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you get in? Where did you enlist?
In Manchester. I went to the what happened, I was working in the Suncook Mill on airplane claw. So they wouldn't let me go in the
Oh, you had a
service.
deferment.
Yeah, okay. Because I know who had taken my name and put me down as such. I took care of that also. And I worked in the mill at night. And I noticed, I said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going. The boss he'd come in, and the two girls that worked in my area, he'd sit there with one of them and he'd sign paper. Never look. She'd pick up the thing he'd sign. So I had one of the girls write a thing that I was all done.
Uh-huh.
I had quit. Sure enough, he had it in there. He signed it, never looked. And I took that and I went to the recruiting place. That little redhead knew me. I was there once a week trying to get
Uh-huh.
my papers.
So now
This
you could
was
be an
on
official
Friday.
card-carrying member if you will.
Yeah, on Friday.
Uh-huh.
Monday, I had greetings and salutation. I had my papers.
Okay.
That's how I got in.
Now, where did you report and how did you get to your first camp, boot camp?
That was in Camp Croft, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Did you go down there by yourself? Were you in a convoy or by
No,
train, bus?
five of us left Manchester together
Mhm.
at the depot. And Jacob, the five of us, one of them had his sister there. I gotta tell you, this is a good one. She's giving him all a kiss because she went to school with him. And
All
here,
five?
yeah, no, except me. I was from Hooksett.
Oh.
You see?
All right,
I said,
go ahead.
what's wrong with me? So being a good little girl, she gave me a kiss. Now she says, the first one that comes back, I will marry.
True love.
Yeah. And it did happen.
And you were it?
Not me.
Oh.
No. No, it wasn't me. It was the guy that's still alive today. He went into the 3rd Division. I went in the 45th after we trained,
Mm-hmm.
you see.
Well, where did you go to camp? Where's your boot camp? And how was boot camp at First Life?
That was in, you're new at it. You follow it. If they told you to jump in the lake or except with snakes, I would never jump where there's a snake.
If it's a stick and wiggles, don't touch it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where was that camp? What was the name
Camp
of the
Croft,
camp?
South Carolina.
Okay. Now, how was your first couple of weeks in boot camp as far as getting into the flow of things and becoming accepted and adjusted?
Well, you're new at it. If they blow the whistle, you do everything they tell you, except to throw yourself on your belly
Mm-hmm.
in case of snakes. Yeah.
And that was
I
the
trained
sergeant's
very
signal.
well, and I did well on all of my training because I
Okay.
followed orders. I was brought up to do what you're told,
Mm-hmm.
you see. But that's how I became such a good machine gunner.
Okay, we'll get into it. Now, how long were you in boot?
We were there 13 weeks training. Then we went to Fort Meade, and we were there about a week. And the first thing you know, we were walking up a gangplank in Virginia, Camden, Virginia. And, here you're a big hero. The band's there playing and all this
Mhm,
stuff.
oh, yeah.
Huh? You go up the gangplank and you're on the ship. Then at night when the things get darker and darker, these lights that you see from shore, you're alone.
Mm-hmm. Very alone.
Gives you a chance. Next morning, I woke up, I went upstairs, and you could walk across the ship. We had joined the convoy that night, during the night. And we were on that ship for 24 days.
Heading for where? Africa?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's when we headed. Casablanca. I thought of it.
Humphrey Bogart
Yeah.
special. Yeah.
And what happened, I went downstairs. I slept on deck all from the third day on, because I was downstairs and they dropped the depth charge. The Germans had snuck in the submarine.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, when I heard that, I says, my God, they blew us up. I was upstairs with my Mae West so quick you wouldn't believe it, I'm telling you. And I never went back down there.
None at all?
No, well, for food.
To eat, yeah.
But to stay, no. They had a 10-wheeler on deck in an airplane. I took my barracks bag, went where the raft is, right here, and I slept there. That's where I lived all that journey under that truck.
Now, it sounds silly, but did you have good weather all the way so that you
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
have
it
to have a
was
poncho
perfect
wrapped
weather.
around you?
We had perfect weather.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Where in Africa did you land?
Casablanca. Yeah.
Now, you said earlier when we were talking about that you were a pretty good guy hanging on a machine gun. Was that your primary MOS as gunner?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you come by it?
Because of snakes.
Okay, well, don't
That's
tell
how I get.
that-
I got.
I want to
yeah,
tell the people about
every
it.
time they trained you, you know, you've got a little hill here. The sergeant blows the whistle, and these idiots would flatten their face. I'm
Mhm.
there like an idiot, alone. And he says, the sergeant would say, "Frenchie, tonight we go to the orderly room after supper. You take it apart, put it back together, fill machine gun belts."
Mm-hmm.
And all that. You get blisters from
Oh, yeah.
there. That's how I became that. I could take that thing about blindfolded.
Now, how long were you trained as a gunner?
Huh?
How long did you have to train to become a certified gunner, if you will?
While I was training at Camp Croft,
Okay.
I spent my nights at that orderly room. But it came in handy. 'Cause
Okay, that's
in-
your story.
In that battle, when they hit us, what happened is I had my machine gun, and the sergeant says, "Frenchie, go check that gun that he isn't firing." So I crawled up to the next one.
Now, this is at Anzio.
Yeah,
Okay, I want to make sure we get that
yeah,
down.
Anzio. I crawled there and I laid first. The kid that was there, I put my 45. I still see his face. He says, "What's that for?" I said, "If I see a German face, you're going to be the first one to get it. Now remember that." I laid in my back, took it all apart. Breen had told me it was a headspace, but it wasn't that. Yeah, it was headspace, but the thing that in the gun, it was headspace. The kid didn't know.
I didn't adjust it, come back.
No.
Yeah. Okay. You learn.
And so I was there for probably at least half an hour before I could crawl back to my hole. So I was firing till they were coming. So I told the kid, I said, that I've got to go to my other gun, my own gun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I took off and it got close to where my gun was, it wasn't there. The tail end of it was sticking up like this. I looked. Idiot, killed.
I know. You can't do a thing about it. That's the bad part. Now, this was back in Anzio. Now, you were there, and then you relieved the British troops, I believe. Is that right?
That's how I was up there at Anzio. We relieved him.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was something because I could hear tracks from a distance. That's when they attacked us the next day.
They surrounded you? That was what, on the 13th of February, something like that?
Let's see, 13 when we relieved. Next day would be around the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
That's when.
Okay.
From the 16th till the 23rd, we were surrounded. Then the captain surrendered us. We had nothing left. no food, no ammo.
Kind of a sad situation.
Yeah.
Now, when you were captured, were you a large company, a large group, squad,
The whole regiment.
whole regiment?
Sure, we were set up there.
Okay.
So they took us, and never mind, the Americans didn't get the word that they could see a lot of people movement. They were shooting artillery at us,
At you?
and at the whole gang that got captured. This was the whole regiment, the
Wow.
battalion rather.
Now, where did you go? Did you
We
stay in
went
there? Or this-
along
did
the
you-
Mussolini Canal.
Nowhere?
The Mussolini Canal along in Italy. They called it Mussolini Canal. That's what they called it. Well, we were so thirsty. The first thing we did, you're throwing yourself in the water to drink.
Mhm.
The German yelled at us, "Don't drink that water," he says, "because we'll feed you as soon as we get you back fine." Thank God, as we went further up, there was enough bodies in that canal, dead Germans.
Pollute the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And they did feed us.
Now, how were you treated?
As a American, what do you call it? The Geneva Convention.
Geneva Convention, yeah.
They went right up to the,
Right to the letter, huh?
yeah.
Now, how were you, when you were there, how were you quartered? In some sort of a big camping area, like a Stalag or like that?
First, from there, we went into Augsburg. They had the barracks there. And the Americans would bomb, and we'd be digging for either people or the stuff when the bombing stuff. We worked in Augsburg for almost a month and a half.
And while you were in camp, did you have any kind of a duty, or did you just rack in and do nothing?
Well, we didn't do anything but stay alive, but in Augsburg you worked every
Okay.
day.
And what kind of work?
When Americans would bomb, and we'd dig the people, if it was people, and one place was a nunnery. We put a roof up. You know, they had those things, metal, not metal, but molded stuff. You go and you put it in like this, the next one. We worked on that,
Like tiles on the roof?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It was a nunnery?
yeah, nuns.
Oh.
They'd go, you'd take a handful, go to this one, the nun would take it to the next, all the way up.
No?
And some of the GIs didn't mind working on heights. I don't care how high I climb as long as I got a foot on the ground, I'm going to tell you.
Way up 1.5 feet.
Yeah, that's it. So we
Okay.
worked there for, probably all summer. Then they took us back to a compound. And that's how they took 20 of us and put us on a farm. A little village, Swarmühlhausen. And I stayed there till I got there liberated.
Now,
20 of us.
okay. And what about the others? They went to different
They
sections?
went to different places.
Okay. And did you ever get back together at all when the war was over?
No, only Haggerty, Quintero. In fact, Quintero was with us when we got liberated. I could speak French, so I'd take the milk to the creamery at night, and I met this Frenchman. We became underground. That's where we got all our news. See, I'd meet him there at night when I'm bringing my bucket of milk to the creamery. The night before, he says to me, "Tonight, sleep with an eye open, because the Germans would shoot you know, the Americans, the few of them, the prisoners.
No?
Yeah.
Was there much of that going on, do you know?
Yeah, I heard there's quite a bit of it in the concentration camp. The real big ones would do that. But what he said sleep with one eye open because we had 2 guards in that house that took charge of us. They had barbed wire the thing. And sure enough, next morning, the guard would open the gate and he'd take you to your farmer. Your farmer was your guard for that day, you see. And what happened, next morning he goes to open the gate. A Jeep comes around the corner, probably less than 1,000 yards from the church, where the church is, in a tank. The guard handed Quintero the rifle. And they came to us and gave us sidearms. And he says the next group of tanks that come, they'll pick you up. And that's when we took off and got our liberation.
And this was through the help of the farmer and the
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's amazing, isn't
After a while, that little village, you knew everybody. They'd talk to you in the morning.
it? Do you have free access to Rome?
Huh?
You had the
Well,
ability to
the
go
guard
free?
would once he opened that gate, where you gonna go?
Okay,
We tried it, didn't work.
all right.
And that's how the village, everybody in the village knew you. Some of them were good, others were useless.
No, now, with something like that, did you ever have a chance to work with them, if you will, not fraternizing, as they say, but
Oh, no, we worked.
get food
We
and...
did the work with the farm.
Okay, and could you get word out somehow to your outfit that you were here?
Oh, they knew it. We could, they'd take the letters. You might see some of that I wrote.
Over here?
That, not those as much as,
Well, here, you take there's 2 or 3 here. You can explain them. You can hold it up a bit.
now see, once a week you could write letters home.
Okay, and this went by the Red Cross or who?
They take the mail people. The Germans would have the mail system.
Oh,
You could only write one of these about every week or a month or so. See, December 24, Christmas, before Christmas.
oh.
See?
What, did you have any restrictions as far as being censored? You couldn't say who you were, where
Oh,
you
you
were?
had to be very careful because
Oh.
they cut it out.
Now, did you have to try to make any kind of a code so that your folks would know that you were
Once in
here?
a while,
I
yeah,
know we all tried that.
yeah. Like when I was in Africa, I had told my folks, I'm glad I saw Humphrey Bogart in the movie, you know? Remember I said when we went to the movies and saw Bogart,
Casablanca?
they knew I was at Casablanca.
And here we are looking at Berchtesgaden.
Yeah.
Okay, it worked.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
I said, I'm doing farming work, but I ruined more stuff you wouldn't believe.
No. It sure shows. You
You'd
tell
laugh.
me.
It's a wonder they didn't shoot me. There was an old man that our farm has the only bulls, so the whole village would come and bring their cows for breeding. And this old man was a mean old cuss. The yard was like mud. It had rained. He comes in after my Joseph comes in, brings the thing back in. He's going with his tied with the cow, and I give her a stick, you know.
Prod him?
Yeah, you'd swear the guy was on the face first, then his head first, and he's going like he was on the ocean, and somebody pulling you on a board. Oh, you should have seen that old man. The funniest thing I ever saw. If I had the camera, I'd have won it. Yeah.
Those are good memories.
Oh, that's the good one.
Yeah.
Well, I pulled some fast ones on quite a few times.
No? Let's hear something.
They laugh about it. Like one day, I told Herbie, the guard, I said, they have Geneva Convention, the whole thing, the rules. I said, Herbie, come as here. He comes, I said, today we don't work, that's a holiday, America.
Oh, yeah?
I pointed,
He's stuffing it.
we didn't go to work. Well, what happened, I didn't know, but the sergeant, they kept track of everything that happened. And that day, he found out when he came to check that we hadn't worked. He says to Herbie, Herbie says the French one. Yeah, Hebert, okay. So the sergeant says to me, show me where it says this is a holiday.
No?
Don't bother, he says, but if you ever pull that again,
Kaput.
yeah, I got away with it.
Yeah, well, obviously
It kept the men alive. You could tell if one was starting to go. If they sit there and nobody, when he starts, just doesn't talk or anything, you know he's going to lose it.
Yeah.
And I do things for him.
You had to bring it up, yeah.
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 Yeah. Then when that Jeep and the tank came around the corner, the best thing I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, were you in any way warned or alerted by your buddy? The
Yeah,
Frenchman?
well, the underground. I used to talk with that Frenchman that would meet me at the creamery.
Oh, okay.
That's how he says, sleep with an eye open tonight. You see? So what we did, we posted two of the guys at the top of the stairs, because we were upstairs on the second floor, in case the guards came up.
Would you rattle a pan or something, or scream or screech, just to warn you?
We had two guys there. They could, big enough, they could stop at little Herbie, and the other one was too fat to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy, and we lost them. They came after him during the night, took one of the guards.
Now, how'd you feel when you saw that Jeep come around the corner?
If I'd have been starving for a year, I felt that that's how, when you're starving, you get a piece of food, it makes you feel good. The minute we saw that Jeep come around the corner, we knew we had it made.
Well, how was the food while you were interned? The cabbage soup or something? Or was it enough to keep you alive?
The farmer is the one that fed us.
Well, from the farm?
Yeah, yeah.
Any restrictions as what you could or couldn't have as far as size and quantity?
Oh no, like a broadside 9 when you're in the field. One of the donuts would come with good German goodies, roadside.
Mm-hmm.
Those were good. No, they fed us good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you felt that you were well treated, in effect.
Oh, of course.
Even though you were captured, you were not inhumanely treated.
No,
Okay.
no. And one day we had gotten Red Cross packages, and we had stocked some. We wanted to try to escape. And what happened, everything was so flat, two of us, because you could see the Alps from where we were in Bavaria. So a couple of us said, we'll go and keep on. But the trouble is, it was so level. First thing we knew, we were probably a mile and a half from the
border?
farm. Yeah, and all of a sudden, a little German vehicle came with a soldier. He says, where you guys going? Thank God it saved us, because we knew there was some GIs at the end of the village. He says, where you going? I said, Cameron. So, all right, go. They followed us
To the gate, huh?
to where the other. That's how.
Sounded like they didn't believe you.
No. And then when he stayed there, of course, the food we had was a sure sign. He wasn't stupid. So we gave the food to our guys when we got there. And then we were there and talked with him and all this. And finally, turned around, he said, Sudak, head back. He pointed our nose there. And he said, I'll be looking at you, watching you.
Carefully.
So that was one that didn't work.
Now, when you're saying for the Alps, were you heading to Switzerland, for example?
Huh?
When you were heading for the Alps, were you heading towards Switzerland for neutral land?
Yeah,
Okay.
our plan was, we were probably 2 miles from the Alps. I could hear them yodeling in the morning going to work. We planned this so close, but it's so level. You can see one person.
Like a night at light, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So it didn't work.
How many times did you try to get out?
Oh,
Just the
God.
one? Or constantly? Well,
At the big concentration camp, we dug the tunnels.
okay.
And you know who would get the digger, don't you?
Now,
The skinniest person.
yeah.
And we had one almost ready to go, because one place right here was the canal. And they had a building here. I was in that one. We figured we'd dig and just let us sneak in at night. Because if you escape, we had codes with the Italian. They'd come and cut your hair, and they'd tell you. And that was in Rome.
The Italians were
And
buddies?
he'd take you back to Anzio.
Oh,
That was our first escape. That almost worked. But trouble is, we used to we had the corner of the building. In here we could open the barbed wire. And we talked with the guard and tried to show him a watch, try to sell him a watch or trade with him.
barter?
Yeah. And while he's being occupied, we're sending the men out. And right in the back there was all this stuff for movies. That's where they even make movies there today. All the props.
Uh-huh.
And they died there. The Italian would take you back to Anzio. But trouble is, we sent the same amount every day. That's the mistake we made.
What do you mean, the same amount?
Well,
of
they
what?
count you 3-4 times a day.
Oh.
And there was always 20 missing.
Oh.
So what happened? One night, just at dusk when we let them out, they were back here within 5 minutes. And they came in the same way they went out. From then on, they moved us to another camp.
Now, there have been lots of movies about the Stalags and so forth, but how did you do your tunneling? Is the big problem getting rid of the dirt or whatever? Boot top?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They still couldn't catch it?
Under the beds,
Oh?
they never checked that. Oh, yeah. But this was the best one we could have had.
Was it closest to the river or the bank? Or?
Well, the canal was about 10 feet from where we were. The barracks right here.
Mhm. Now, I'm wondering though, if you're digging in towards a canal, hopefully there's water, and if you break through, would that not have flooded the tunnel?
No,
Or you come up before it?
we'd have been out before that. 'Cause
Okay.
that canal was lower, you see?
Oh, well, I didn't know. I'm
Oh, yeah.
trying to get a picture in my
Oh, no,
mind.
yeah. The canal was lower.
Now, You have the picture there of you at, when you were in Starlight. Could you hold that up so we can see what you look like then? The one over there, your desk.
This one?
Yeah.
That's when I got captured.
No, I mean, let me see, let me hold it out. I want the people to see what you look like when you were a little kid.
That's true.
Yeah, hey. Yeah. There we go. We're coming into it.
There we go, sorry.
There you go. There he is, folks.
And see how skinny? I was the smallest one.
No, you're not
in that
skinny, you're
old
slender.
Yeah, smallest one.
That's a long time ago, huh?
Yeah.
Now that's what, Stalag?
Oh, that was the. Oh,
Oh.
this one here.
Now, is that a picture that the Germans
That-
took?
Yeah.
Like a mugshot, if you
Well,
will?
that's when they get captured. They take a mugshot. I have a small one in some of the papers.
Oh, we got so many papers. Nope. I can't see it here.
Oh, I know the.
Oh, here, is this it?
That's
Yeah,
it right
here we
there.
go. Just a minute, folks. You gotta handle this carefully. It's kind of brittle around the edges.
That's
That's your
The original.
your official German mugshot.
yeah.
Okay, now, would you want to explain some of the detail on this so that we had some idea what you had to say and do and so forth?
Well, yeah. What they did, they took a picture of us and right this, and then they sent us to in a big concentration camp
Mm-hmm.
from here. I don't remember which one it was. Stalag 7B, Mimigan. I was in that one in Moosburg also. This is Mimigan.
Now, how many camps were you stationed from one to the other? How many times different stuff?
The big ones, the Mimigan and Moosburg was the first one going into Germany. Because we went all the way up from Italy, all the way up. If you escaped, they transferred the whole tent, the whole gang. And we ended up, the last time we were in the train was in Capua, Italy. From there we went into Moosburg, Germany.
And that way you ended up in Germany,
Yeah,
Germany proper?
the big ones, yeah.
Now, how are the conditions there?
Put for loaded solid with a little box for a urinal. Be in there for about 2 days. You're happy to walk.
No? I don't understand what
Well, you put all these soldiers there,
Hmm.
and that keeps going. We tried because they had wire on. Well, the 40 and 8 that's in Manchester there. That boxcar France sent. Huh?
I know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what we rode in.
Okay, more than 40?
Huh?
More than 40?
Hell, you sat down. That was as far as you got.
No. How long would the trip like that take you?
It took
Was it
us.
a continuous run or just
No,
stop and stop and stop?
you stop at different places to eat. They have food at a certain station. In every one of them, we looked for an escape. We had guys that knew everything about escaping. We never made it. Yeah, the last one before we crossed over was in Capua. And what happened, a friend of mine, they had taken that little hole. If you go to Manchester and Reed Street, you'll see that boxcar, the same as what we rode into,
Oh,
a live one. And what happened, they finally worked their way on that barbed wire.
Mhm.
The first one went head first and rolled. The next one jumped down. His hand went on the thing and took the hand right off.
the wheels?
Yeah, thank God they had in the woods some of the French underground. soldiers there took care of him,
Wow.
saved his life. After that, I don't know, because we ended up in Moosburg.
Now, I'd like to sleep back a couple, we've got about 15 to 20 minutes left. If you can you want to share some of the stuff you did, stuff, it's a bad word, your actions in Anzio, where you were fighting and what your fighting was all
Well,
about?
what happened there at Anzio when they attacked us was that I was right here on where the Spaggy took over, and we had machine gun sections all along. Then the other one, E Company, was to our right. So they hit us all at once, the whole bunch.
Full frontal attack.
Huh?
A frontal attack.
Yeah. Well, what happened is Breen, I was firing like everything you can think of. And Breen says, Frenchie, go check that machine gun. It's not working. So I crawled from mine, probably the length of this building here, the roof here, right here.
Okay, about 60 feet.
Yeah. All right. I crawled there, and that's when I laid on my back in the hole, and I told that kid, to protect me. Took it apart and everything, got it back going, but I couldn't go because they were coming at us like bees. So I fired for about probably 10 minutes. Then I told the kid, I said, you take over, I'm going to mine.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to mine, the tail end of the gun was this way. Spaggy had gotten it. I looked, his helmet was there. He wasn't there. They took him, brought him down to the cave. His hat was there with full hole in the helmet.
I know. No. It's a hell of a memory, and I don't mean to cause you grief.
If I'd have gone quicker, instead of staying on this one after I fixed it,
It was either you or he. I know.
it'd have been me.
It's a memory you'll never forget. Okay, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to bring that up that way, but that's what happened.
No, it's all right.
Now, we've got a few minutes left. What I'd like to do on the lighter side, this is one that your daughter's broke out.
Oh, yeah.
When was that taken? It looks pretty much like you were today.
That was taken last year, after a parade or something.
Uh-huh. Now, this is a shot, if you can get it. I guess Joe is doing something else. But what I'd like to do is take a few minutes. There are 2 or 3 telegrams here that I think kind of wrap this all up. I'm amazed at it. It says, the standard one, very brittle. It's to I guess it's your mother, Jeanette.
Yeah, she's the one that saved
Looks
all of them.
April 14th, 1944. Secretary of War desires me to express his deep regret that your son, Private Gerald H. Herbert, has been reported missing in action since 23 February in Italy. Signed, Adjutant General Dunlop. Now, this is one, I think it's from you, is that it? Western Union? Can you read that one?
Oh, that they let us talk. That was an official shortwave broadcast from Germany. And a lot of those cards and stuff is people that would spend the night on the shortwave,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd write my
They
mother
relay the messages back.
to my mother. And all these things, Joe Byron made a disc of all the
Yeah,
those.
we're gonna talk about that in a couple of minutes, because that's something. Now, this is another good, this is the better one. Sometime in June 45, Secretary of the War desires me to express his pleasure that your son, Private Gerard, has returned to military control. So
Yeah.
you've been relieved.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
back.
That's when
That's a good piece of paper.
that's the best one.
Yeah, it's the damn best one. Now, where do we go from here? You've got so much information, so many things to say. One of the things I'd like to do, I can't turn you around, but I'd like you to explain your badges, if you will, your medals, your citations.
Yeah.
I don't know we can see them, but if you could turn facing that way, there, okay?
Okay. This the combat infantry.
Yeah.
This one's a Bronze Star. I have a few of those. This is a prisoner of war. This is good conduct. Shows you how
Oh,
good
you
I
never
was.
got caught, huh?
Yeah. And this is the American service. This European theater with,
What, 4 stars?
yeah.
Uh-huh,
This is the victory one.
yeah.
And this is the
Well,
presidential unit.
Talk to them, not to me. I want people to see what you did.
Oh.
Okay. Now, what's the cluster around the combat badge, the gold cluster? Was that an additional?
Well, that's it would be like 2 badges instead of 1.
Okay,
That's what I mean.
okay, I didn't know that.
And see, this one here has 4 bronze star, I think. Here, that there's America,
Okay,
Europe. And this came from the presidential unit.
citation,
Yeah,
very good.
that's
Now-
about it.
A loaded question. With all that you've seen and done and have been through, would you say that your military experiences had a positive or a negative effect on how you lived since then?
I would almost think it had a positive. It made me stronger
In what way?
in a way that I could think twice before I do anything.
Okay.
What if, you know?
Mm-hmm. Both sides of the pancake. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then from there, I went to school on power brakes because I had read a story. They were all trucks over a ton had to have power brakes. I said, I'm going to go, and I went to school on that.
Oh, after the war. Okay. Now, to that point, did you take advantage of the GI Bill?
Yeah, that was
This
part
would be
of
your
it,
schooling.
you see?
Yeah. Okay.
And then I went and I learned all I could about power brakes, how they work and everything. And I ended up in your car today, you have a power brake. And I worked on them. And then I had a sketch on how I would do it. The master cylinder would be here, and they'd put the unit here.
Mm.
And I said, why not put one
What
here
decided?
for everything?
Yeah.
And that's all the brakes on the cars today comes from that.
Now, did you have that patented, or didn't you know?
No,
about it?
I'm not too smart. What happened, the guy that taught me would come and check on me, see what I did, you know, and stuff. And I had this thing written right on I had my bolt and where I wrote everything. He says, what are you going to do with this? Nothing.
Oh,
I, see?
you could have been a millionaire, maybe.
No, they offered me a job to go to Bendix on
Oh,
here. I just got home. I'm going to go in Bendix Westinghouse. And I had just gotten married, and my wife wouldn't go, so.
let's talk about that for just a second. When you did get through and got through your schooling and that, and you got married, how's your married life been, and your kids and so on?
Good.
Where do you spend your time around here, or do you?
Oh, yeah, from here I stayed in Manchester. I worked at the waterworks 40 years. Never missed a day. But see, on brakes and this, I did my mechanical work. I blocked my work. I knew enough about braking, but Mr. Sweeney, I used to, this friend of mine on brakes, I used to go, he sold fire trucks, and I used to go if he had a problem in Dover anyway. And I never charged a man.
No,
No, why not? A 5-minute job?
but those 5 minutes add up.
Yeah, but you know, when they built the waterworks, Mr. Sweeney, I worked on Palmer Spring on air brakes, and Mr. The same man that I worked on his fire truck stuff, Frank Dill, says to me, I said, I don't like it here. I said, it's a dirty shop and all this. Don't do anything, he says. Next day he comes over to me and he says, tonight at 6 o'clock, this is important to him. He says, you go to Mr. Sweeney's house when you hear the fire station clock should ping off at 6 o'clock, ring his doorbell. Not a minute before or after.
Okay.
I rang there. The minute I heard that, I pushed the button. He says, come in. You know when you're young, huh? I said, boy, he looks mean to me. Come in. He said, sit down. I sat. He says, Frank Dill tells me you're a good man, he says. When can you come into work?
Oh, that was a relief.
Let's talk about an interview. I told him, I says, and tomorrow, he says, you go to the waterworks and see this lady in the office. You'll write the papers.
Oh,
Got the job.
so it came out all right in the end.
Yeah,
Good to hear. We have to wrap this up.
that's good.
No. All I can say is press the flesh. And I thank you and welcome home.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it, folks. This has been another interview by a guy who made this little thing and did it well. All I can do, as we said before, is to ask the rest of you guys and gals out there, if you have a story to tell and you'd like to share it, come and get us. At the end of the program, you'll see an address and a phone number. We'll do anything and everything we can to make you happy and comfortable. But more important, I've found a lot of guys saying once they've told this story, it's taken a load off them. They feel better about it. Plus, it gives your family and your friends an idea of what you did way back when. Come and see us, please. Bob Stevens saying thank you. Stay healthy.